Hi everybody, here you are, Tarot Down Under entertainment channel where we look at world affairs, mainly the US. Now, let me just put out a trigger warning. So if you're a Trump supporter, and here you are on this channel, I want you to be certain that you know what you're dealing with here. So you might think it's okay that your president is an inarticulate cretin who makes America to be an embarrassment on the world stage. You might not care about that. You might not care that he doesn't pay his bills. Tulsa certainly won't get reimbursed for their security outlays. You mightn't care that he gives tax breaks to the rich. But you know what you should care about? Paying for his criminal children and their lifestyles. I just found out today, intrepid viewers, your tax dollars went for Don Jr. to go to Manchuria. Imagine what that costs, flying there with the Secret Service agents and everything because he's so important. He went to Manchuria to shoot an endangered sheep. Now back to the Trump supporters who might still be sitting there with their mouths open. Who flies halfway around the world to shoot a sheep? I'm a farm girl. I could have done it. Love, there's no hunting skills in that. It's a sheep. Staggering. But speaking of tax breaks to the rich, tax breaks sound like they still pay tax, but less. So not only was the corporate rate dropped, but I was just reading yesterday where 60 of the top Fortune 500 companies don't pay any tax at all. In fact, in the case of Amazon and Netflix, their tax should have been 16.4 billion combined globally. No, they paid nothing, nada, zilch. And you and I guess, to the corporate entity, paid them $4.9 billion in a revenue subsidy. You know what? I think we've got to the turning point in greed. I think all of this, they keep getting away with this because people aren't interested in economics. Well, maybe you should take up an interest. Just like democracy can only function if people are engaged. So enough of the lectures. I thought I'd start with Don Jr. today. Now, those intrepid viewers who have been with this channel a while will know I can't mention Don Jr.'s name without thinking of the old Irish aunties who famously would describe him as having one of those faces you never get tired of slapping. Okay, so Don Jr., I've got out the Toff deck, the Aleister Crowley Toff deck, because really, these are very weird cards. They're like the Russian cards. I would never use them for normal readings, for normal people, and I keep them specially for these scabrous, cowardly, greedy, awful people. So away we go. Haven't looked at Don Jr. for a while, and he came up when I was talking about Mary's book. Don't you love how Trump thinks she can't write the book because I've made her sign yet another non-disclosure agreement? I'm sorry, love. I hate to break it to him. She's written the book. It's coming out. She's written the book. She doesn't care what her Yeti uncle thinks. Go, Mary. Yeah. Okay, back to Don Jr. Concentrate, Lena. What's happening for Don Jr.? Don Jr. Don Jr. Let's look. What does he get? In the middle, the Eight of Pentacles here. He's still managing to get some money. Oh, Prince of Swords. Oh. Look, on top, he has some good cards and not a marvellous outcome. Well, that's promising, isn't it, really? So here you have the Ace of Pentacles. This is usually a good card. It represents, you know, a breakthrough, big idea that could lead to money and substantial sort of security and all of that. Or it can be fool's gold. So I'll leave it to you to interpret which of those you think might apply to him. So underneath here, at the root of the reading, he gets the Magician card. I think that's turning gold into caca. He's like his father. He's got the reverse Midas touch. Instead of being able to turn, you know, rocks into gold, he turns gold into rocks. So he's still got power, way too much power. In the past leading into now, because this is a 5-carder, meaning not ancient history, this is just recent past. Look at this. So here he is, as literally as the Prince of Darkness. There's an edge to that. Look, he enjoys, you know, riding roughshod over people. You know, the sword is raised. Excuse me. He gets also another major arcana card, the Fool. Now, the Fool can be a fool or a foolish act, or it can be a very sophisticated card. It's new beginnings. It can be the beginning of a great learning experience. Well, I hope he's learning something. But for him, when you look at his through line here, the middle, with the Ace of Discs, the Magician and the Fool, it's like he doesn't know what to do with the power. Sorry, the Labrador's just arrived with a stick. Long ago. Big dog, big stick. Okay, so he's playing with power is the point I'm getting to. And then he gets the 3 of Swords in his outcome. Sorrow. Okay. I wish I was sad for him, but I'm not. And I'm sure most of you aren't either. Okay, so he's still got power. He will have power till November of some sort, because he's got to hang around long enough to torture his cousin Mary. And then it's going to catch up with Don Jr. Now, I want to look at Bannon today too, also equally deserving of the top. Sorry, let me deal with the dog. Where's the pause button on this? Can't find pause. There. Here we are now, without a large dog under my feet. Now, I'm going to have a look at Bannon, because he's back in the picture. If you want to know why I got into YouTube and reading political tarot, you have to thank Kirsten Langston, Third Eye Champagne. It'd be 2 years ago, if not 3 years ago. I hadn't ever thought about going on YouTube or anything. I hadn't picked up my cards for years. And I watched her video on Steve Bannon. And I laughed so much and it inspired me. So thank you, Kirsten. I will never tire of that video. And if you haven't seen it, go back. Kirsten Langston on Stephen Bannon. It was an eye-opener. Warning, language warning, but it was amazing. Okay, Steve Bannon now. He's a weird guy. Weird guy. Weird guy. He had conspiracy theories before they even had a name, you know, like he was one of those. He's smart in the sense of, I think, a high IQ guy, really widely read, but all that brain is devoted to evil. And so it's like Barr. They're worse than Trump. Trump is just a carnival barker, you know, or as someone described him in the comments, it's like the last Elvis concerts. you know, when he was overweight and in the diaper, and it's really coming to an end. Yeah, so Bannon, is he going to have any influence now? He's back in America. All right, let's see. I'll just do a full card for him. Oh, okay. Queen of Wands with this, with him. I don't think, I wonder if this is actually Rebecca Mercer. Well, we use the phrase in bed with, I don't think for 1 minute they're in bed with each other. But they've worked together because they had to destroy the UK as well as the US as part of their adventure, which brings us back to Brad Parscale as well, viewers, who I'll do in a moment. So Queen of Wands, I think here might be the toxic Queen of Wands in the form of Rebecca Mercer. He then gets the adjustment card in the Toth deck, which is the equivalent of the judgment card. It's more, I'd like to say judgment is coming down on him, but I don't know so much. I think it's more he's judging, he's weighing up. Do I want to go into this circus again? Because he's smart enough to know how stupid Trump is. And he's a bit like Barr, who's pushing this right-wing religious sort of agenda. Bannon is pushing his agenda for chaos in the world. He's a chaos merchant, and he knew that he could manipulate Trump. So I think he's weighing up how far in. I think he will come on board. Unfortunately, the Lover's card is the bringing together in a pact or a treaty or a contract. So I think he does decide to join the campaign, even if it's behind the scenes. Followed by the Lust card. Now, again, I might have lots of issues with Steve Bannon, and you wouldn't want to be married to him. I think there was issues with his ex-wife and stuff. I don't think it's as sexual as this card implies. It's also the card of base instincts. So in other words, I think he's weighing up. His intellectual self is saying, stay away from this. It's carnage. Do not get involved, Steve. Oh, okay, I will. And the reason he will is because his lower self, that's all about brute power and brute force in the world, overrides everything else. He's not in it for the money. No pentacles here. He's not in it for the money. He's in it for the power, and he's not in it for the power like lots of other Trump acolytes are. I want to be close to the President of the United States. It's not that sort of power. He's thinking world. He doesn't even want global domination. He wants destruction. And that's fully scary. Fully scary. Now, how good was Tulsa? Have to take a minute. Champagne to Tulsa. Wow. Big heads up to all the young things on TikTok who did their bit, booking the fake seats. I love that story. I think the poor numbers were partly that, probably a big part that. But you know what, viewers? I don't think people liked having to sign a waiver that they wouldn't complain about COVID. I think that drew their attention to it. We're going to be in a closed stadium with all these thousands of people, ha, 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 ha. They didn't like being told to do that. And Trump's now going to find problems with that because he's been robbed of his rally format. Could it be better? It's bliss. Okay, the next person to go, you'd have to think, is Brad Parscale. I've got no sympathy for him because, like Bannon, he went with Rebecca Mercer and they did Brexit. All of those players did Brexit as well as the hacking of the US elections and the distortion of data and knowing them and dealing with WikiLeaks and all that. They did all of it in the UK as well. Okay, so here we go. Brad Parscale, the next head to roll. Is he going to go? Of course, they're saying no, which no means yes, because the White House is really total Alice in Wonderland stuff. Look at this. All right. And I think this is what's happening more and more, like saying, oh, let's slow down the tests because that slows down the numbers. It's bad enough even thinking of it, but then explaining it as a joke. So 120,000 dead Americans, it's a side splitter, isn't it? You can't stop laughing. 40 million unemployed, God, it's hilarious. So this isn't washing anymore. It's just not washing anymore. Let's have a look at Brad Parscale, and then, oh, I'm answering your requests here, by the way. Okay, Brad Parscale. He's gone. What can I say? It's hardly worth taking up a minute of your time. He gets the Ace of Wands. He's been a big shot. You know, he was the brain, right? Him and Paul Manafort were the two big brains behind the successfulness of the Yetis campaign. So major player. He made vast amounts of money, and Trump resents him for that. He hates anyone else making money. As if I wasn't sure. Here's the card of ruin, right? 10 of Swords, ruin, out and out ruin, and it's right next door to his money. I think Trump's going to sue him. Wow, I just heard court. I think Trump's going to sue Brad Parscale. Oh my word. And then, or maybe he'll sue Trump, because this is the Knight of Swords. This is a card of revenge. Oh, I'm going to leave my options on the table there, intrepid ones. I think he's going to be sacked, and then I think he's going to sue Trump, or Trump will sue him. Oh, I wouldn't have thought they'd be bothered at this stage of their lives. I love it. The cards never fail to surprise and amaze. Okay, what else for you today? The Jeffrey Berman scenario, of course. I'll come back soon looking at July and August and summer, and what's going to be happening in Florida and Texas and all those hot states. But, okay, I need a question for the Jeffrey Berman saga. He was their guy. They sacked Preet Bharara was his name. He was the Attorney General of SDNY. They put this guy in, and curses upon his head. He actually did his job. He wasn't a complete stooge. So he had to go. I'm amazed he's lasted this long. So is there going to be a blowback about this? A blowback on the Jeffrey Berman sacking? Is there going to be a blowback on the Jeffrey Berman? All right. Chariot, moving right along, gets Fool card again. Princess. Oh, we get the Knight of Swords again too. This has got, in 4 cards, 3 major arcana. That tells you straight up a big story. It's not going to go away. What we mean by that is, of course, several things. One is there'll be something else tomorrow that'll take the front page. But it is going to hang around. It is not good. So things moving quickly. I think this is the sacking itself. The Fool could be an elevated card, but isn't. I think this was foolish by Barr and Trump because it's so blatant. It's so blatant. The page of discs. The page of disc is about, look at all these antlers. They've got themselves in a web here. I think this is Barr. I don't think it's Berman. Everyone's on Berman's side now, even if they didn't like him last week, they like him now. So I think these antlers are going to come into play. We have the Knight of Swords, which we just had. Can be the card of revenge, jealousy, impulsivity. They must have been thinking about this for a long time, but there was something a bit manic and a bit rushed about the Friday night assassination. So that says to me there was something just about to be released, either on Giuliani or one of the criminal offspring, or something very close to Trump was just about to drop. I think that's why it happened. I think we need clarifiers from the little cute Sibyllas. Let's have a quick look. So this is the Jeffrey Berman sacking. They brought the antlers on here. They're in trouble over this. I don't know what it takes to impeach an Attorney General of a nation, but he must have done it. I mean, at best, the new administration will do things to him, but he can do a lot of damage, Barr, between now and November. So tell me more about the blowback on this sacking. The blowback. Oh, oh, man. This smacks to me of bribery, but where it fits in. So it's sort of the lover, the consolation celebration, and the prize. I think they thought they could bribe him by offering him, and I think they did offer him, more or less any other position he wanted, and probably any salary he wanted. I think they attempted to bribe him prior to this, and I think it's that action, because it says they can't hide behind him being incompetent or not up to the job or anything like that, because they did offer him other high positions. So it's that element of the story, which is essentially bribery. If you leave this position, we'll give you any job you like and just name your salary, right? That's a bribe. And these are the cards of bribery, right? I think it's that angle rather than the sacking itself. I think it's the attempted bribery that could bring Barr into line. I'm not game to say anything or get rid of Barr other than him dropping with ill health, but I think this is going to be the legal loophole. It's like Al Capone and the taxes, right? It's the bribe that preceded the sacking that's going to cause the legal blowback, not the sacking. Ha! And who knew about the bribe and when? Another intriguing installment in it all. We'll go Tulsa. And big love to all of you who are blue dots in a red sea out there. You know what I mean? You're the good guys who are stuck and you're living with or married to or related to Trump voters. Please give me any feedback if you feel they're beginning to peel off. you know, but look after yourselves and stay sane by staying engaged with like-minded people online. Don't get into arguments with them. You're not going to win. Just stay with your like-minded community online. You can start right here with the forum for this channel. I love you guys. Don't forget your masks. You can get your Trumpocalypse and other masks. You can get subtle ones. You can get out there ones. And even if you don't wear any of those, make sure you wear a mask when you're out in significant gatherings or public transport and things like that, you know? Really think about it. Love you. Bye for now. Ciao.